Okay, I recorded the session. Okay, and did you guys try to create a simple dashboard? Any one of you have tried to create some simple dashboard? You can share your screen and show the dashboard if you have done something on the dashboard creation. Or you can put it on chat at least if you have created some dashboards, right? So, okay, fine. Let us see like how to create some. This is a summary page, like I said. We can create a details page also. Okay, go to this page and click on this plus button and click on this details. Okay, so you could able to create this detail section. Okay, so once the detail section has been created, now what are all the detail analysis we can do here, right? I think we can copy this widget as it is to the next page, because again we are going to do the sales dashboard only. So how to create this widget, right? So what you can do is just click here, and you have this like move option here, right? I think move to page, okay, or add to page. Okay, click on add to page and click on this particular page name and click on apply. Okay, so the same thing will be copied to the next page. It's just copy pasting it to the next page. Okay, so filters also, I would like to keep the same filters. So again, what we can do, we need to select each and every filter, and you just click here, and you can click on add to page and click on save details. So ideally what happens, the same thing will be copied to next page. Okay, so both things we have copied. Okay, so there are some different things which I need to do here. Okay, so one graph which I going to create is, which is going to give me a top 10 results. Likewise, the other graph which I go top 10, top 15, and top 20 and 25 based on the selection dynamically. Another chart which I'm going to do is, it is going to dynamically select my dimensions, and the other chart which I'm going to do is dynamically it will select my measures, and I'm going to create one more chart that will be acting as a master through these two charts. So based on selection from these three charts, we'll be doing a master selection. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, this is based on dynamically how we are going to code our uh, like widgets. Okay, so I'm taking a widget now, and I'm going to take a account. Okay, account name. Fine, I'm just taking the account name here, and I'm sorting it by descending. Okay, so it means these are all the account names which I have. Okay, but account name won't be a perfect example. We can take country, either country, right? We can take the billing country here. Okay, I'm taking the billing country and its count. So based on the counts, right, which is having a higher number of counts, I'm going to display the top 10, top 15, and top 20, top 5 also. So how it is going to happen is, just you need to click on sort descending. You need to take this column, and if you sort it by descending, all the values will be sorted by descending. And one more thing is, you can sort ascending also. When you do this, it will be sorted by ascending. So you can see this, like in which country we had less number of sales and which country we are having higher number of sales, just by sorting it by ascending and descending. This is one of the key features when you come to data analytics side. So what you need to do is, like, you need to identify which is giving us the more number of business, likewise which is giving us the low number of business. Okay, so to do that, so my first step, okay, what is my first step is, like, I have an option to create a query here. I just go to create a query, and I'm just naming it as create a custom query here. When I do a create a custom query, what it happens is, so it will create me a custom query where I can add my values here. So this is text and this is column. Okay, in the text, I'm just going to give top 5, top 15, sorry, top 10, top 15 and top 20. So according to me, any users, right, they might be able to see these values. It is ideally they will require to see whether top 5, top 10, or top 15 instead of seeing all the data. Most of the business will be interested to see those things, because which is the area who is providing more number of business to their company. Only that will be concentrated first. Okay. So when I'm adding a column here, so I will add. See here you have select data type, either it is a dimension, either it is a measure, either it is a text, either it is a number. Okay, I'm just selecting the text here. Okay, I just need the text. So I'm just selecting the text here, and in 5 I'm just selecting 5. Sorry, I don't want to select text, right? I need to select a number. In the number I'm just selecting 5 and 10, and here it is 15, and here it is 20. Okay, and when I do this, first step to do this, to achieve the selection binding, is to go here and create the query. We need to create which query we need. Okay, so suppose if you are trying to create a query, you will get a page like this, and from which data set you need to refer, you need to select that. Okay, that is how you create a custom query. Okay. So go to create query, and from here you can click on create custom query, and you can add whichever query is needed here. And what is going to be your query name is just what you're giving in this talk will become your query name. If you see here, every widget whichever we have created will have its individual query name here. Okay, if it is a number widget, it is an individual query name. So each widget is referenced by the query name. Okay, so always it is better to give a specific query name. So here I have static one. This is my static query which I created using create query and create a custom query option. It means that we are going to create a query which is not available already, and we are trying to explore it. Okay, so I'm just placing a toggle here. Toggle, why we are using toggle is, see, suppose if I'm adding here, what it can do, see, it will give me top 5, top 10, top 15, and top 20 based on the selection. See, when I select, okay, now what I am expecting is, when I select top 5, this should give me the top 5 results. When I select top 10, this should give me top 10. Top 15, top 15. Okay, but ideally now nothing is happening. Why? Because this query is not been integrated with this query. So our first step is to integrate this query with this one. So how to integrate this? Okay. So first fetch this query name. Okay. Get this static one. And nowadays from this summer release, we have a very good feature. We can generate the query from uh, the query widget in this, from the source query widget itself, where we can add the interaction, advanced interaction editor. This is very easy. Only you need to know is the query name, right? And where I need to add is, we have an option for limit. Okay, so I don't think it is here. So suppose if you want to add it here, just set it to 5. Okay, this is the query limit. I need to set it to 5. So when I set it to 5, it is just an example. You can set it to any other thing you need. I changed it to 5, so I'm getting total 5 rows. If I change it to 15, I will get the 15 rows. But only thing is, why we are going for the selection binding is, we can select the values dynamically. Suppose if I selected 15, right, always it will show 15 only. If you click here and then click on show details, it will show the query where it will set to 15, but it should not be the case. Ideally, what should be the case? When you select 5, it should display 5 here instead of 15. That is what we are going to change it dynamically. So how we are going to change it is, we got this query name and we got this widget name, and what you need to do is, you need to pass this static one here. And source data, what is the source data? Select the source data. Here I'm selecting cell, and there are three things: row, column, and cell. Whenever we are using a column to pass it dynamically, then we will use column. Whenever we are using a row, then we will use row. And I'm using cell because I need it only for cell. Okay, and row index I'm selecting 0. Why we are selecting 0 is, in any array it starts with 0. So I need to fetch the first result. So I'm using this. And what I need to fetch, I need to fetch the number 2. So you can see the results here. It will populate the results also based on this query. Okay. So what you need to do is just copy this query, and wherever you see the limit, okay, limit which we have set to 5, and in that particular place, sorry, we set to 15. In that particular place, we need to copy this query and we need to paste this query. Okay. Now there will be an error. Why? Because it should be placed under double quotes. Okay. Until we are placing it into double quotes, there will be an error. Okay. So after you place into double quotes, you can see the error is removed, and I'm clicking on save now. So one thing I did not do here, there is one thing I used as a result binding. Okay, ideally it should not be a result binding. It should be a selection binding. Why? Because I'm going to select something and it is going to pass a result, right? But now what it is happening is it is passing 5. Even though I'm selecting 10, it is passing 5. If you see the query, it will show you it is passing just 5. Why? Because I used as a result. Result binding is normally a result which gets populated, and based out of it, there will be another result populated for it. Okay, that's why we are using the result binding. But forget about the result binding. Now we'll come to selection binding. So what I did mistake is, instead of selecting as a selection, I selected as a result. So we need to change that. In the place of result, I'm just changing it as selection. So now what I'm telling to the limit, go to the cell, find the query static one, and go to the selection and select the number 2 as string. It means that whenever I'm going to select this particular column, it is going to pass this as a value. Okay. I'm just going to save this, right? And now nothing has been selected. What I'm going to do is top 5. See, you will get only the top 5 results. When I select top 10, then you will get the top 10. When I select top 15, top 15. When you select top 20, then you'll get top 20, right? This is how it should be. And there is one more option. You can set it by default as per the user requirement. If the user wants, set it to top 10 by default. If I need to change or switch between anything, I will switch between the other cases. So during that time, what you need to do is just click here and click on the pickup initial values and just say top 10. By default, top 10 is selected, and click on done. So by default, top 10 will be selected. So after that, if you want to switch, then you can switch. But by default, whenever this dashboard opens, then it will show only the top 10. Okay. This is a simple selection binding, how we can limit it for a like a one particular widget and pass it to a widget, but it can be passed to any number of widgets. But now what we did is, just for this particular widget, we did a selection binding. Based on the selection, it will pass the result here. Okay. Now let me take another widget. Okay. I'm going to take another widget where it says, okay, industry, count of rows based on industry. Okay. And it is again sorted by descending. So now instead of passing a dimension value, instead of passing a static value, now I'm going to pass a dynamic column value here. So how to do that? Okay, how to pass the dynamic dimension value? So now I'm having an industry here. Likewise, I can add any other column, industry, and what we can add, status or something. Mm, when it got stuck. Okay, status. I don't want status. Let me find any other column which has, okay, account source. Okay. Now instead of having like this, see, it is looking odd, right? The graph is not looking good. And it is not only for the reason we can use the selection binding, it is also to switch between. It might be based on the user requirement. Okay. Now industry and account source. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to update it. Okay. Like I did here, I'm going here, just creating one more static, create a query and create a custom query. Now what I'm going to do is, first is industry. This is just a display name. We can give whatever name is, whatever name you need. Okay. Industry. And then second one is What we took source, right? Source. Okay. So now I'm adding a column. What column I'm going to add is dimension. Okay. From which data set? It is from the sales data set. What I'm going to add for industry, I'm going to add the industry, and for 1 minute source, I'm going to add the source. Okay. It's just a account source. Just adding the account source here. Okay. 1 minute. I'm getting a call. 1 minute. Okay, fine. So I've added these two columns and I'm just clicking on done. So what I'm going to add, I'm adding a toggle again, right? After adding a toggle, I need the static step 2. I'm just copying it. So what I'm expecting here, when I click on industry, it should show the industry, and when I click on source, it should show the source. So how to achieve it? Okay. So first of all, go here, and instead of keeping it in an SQL mode, okay, we just change it to query mode. How to change it to query mode is just go here, click on this arrow mark, it will change to query mode. Okay, and just click on one enter. Just click on one enter and run the query. Okay, it's running in the background. Then you can change it to chart mode again. Okay, and then just click on the update. Okay, here you can change the theme to dark. Okay, then you will be able to see everything. Okay, this is the first step. So once you change it to query mode, you will get a query like this. Okay, and the query will be like this. Okay, now in the group by, we can change it without changing it to query mode also, but this is one of the easiest way to do it. Okay, I will tell you the other way also, like how we can do the other way also when we are proceeding further, but this is one of the approach which I have changed it. And now I need to bind the values here. So I need to go to step this. I'm going to take the static 2 values here, go to the advanced editor, like I said, advanced interaction editor, like I said, select this query, and take this 0 and take the dimension 2, and instead of result we need to select a selection. Okay, and copy this query. Okay, and in the group by, paste it. Likewise here also paste this. Ideally it should give an error because we did not select any initial selection. So based on the industry, see, it is giving the industry, and based on the source, it is giving the source. How we are getting the data. When you click on industry, it will change to industry column, and when you click on source, it will change to source column. But one mistake I did here, any one of you were able to identify what is that mistake, right? Any one of you can tell like what is the mistake? Okay. You can put it on chat also if you find out. But what is the mistake? I will tell you. See, here we have industry and source, right? So when I click on industry, the tooltip, if you are seeing in the tooltip, it is showing the industry. But when I click on source, but when you click on the tooltip, it is just showing industry. But it should show a source. But ideally, it is showing us industry, which is wrong, right? Which is ideally wrong. So we need to change this. Okay. So how to change this is one thing why we are getting error here is we did not check the pickup initial selection. Yeah, link is there already. Link is already there between the two fields. Okay, and I need to just select the industry and click on done. So when I click on done, so dynamically I can switch between these two columns. You can see this, right? And when I do this, one more mistake I did is the tooltip I did not change. Even when I'm changing to source, it is just saying as industry here and saying as employee referral. But ideal, the column name is different, right? The column is totally different. So where I need to change that, I need to change it here. After as is the alias names, which is just giving the alias name. I need to change it here. I forgot to change it. So what happens? My entire results which is coming out for the industry instead of source. So how to change the alias names from here? Okay, let us see this. Go to the query. Here you can see industry. You can see the industry and source, right? So what you need to do is again we need to copy this dimension column and you need to place this dimension column there. Okay, so it can be done like this. After as, just copy this and put this after as. Okay, now I've changed it. Okay, so now what happened when even though when I click on source, okay, there is one problem when we are switching between two dimension column. There is one particular property called column map. We need to remove that column map from here. Okay, we need to entirely remove this column map. This column map is from line number 105 to 113. Okay, when you click on this drop down, you will get this. Just remove this. We don't need this column map when we are doing a selection binding. Okay, between two different columns ideally. So when I click on source, now see, I'm getting source and tooltip as account source. When I click on industry, I'm getting industry and industry as energy. Okay, so what would have been the problem when we did not change this previously, right? The faceting will not work. For example, why I'm telling us faceting is when I click here, see, ideally the values are changing and it is changing to the filter account source. Here it is filtering the account source. But if I did not change it, then even though I select on the source, it is going to display as the industry as the value. It means that it is going to try the try to find industry as some source like online or web or social media, which won't be there in the industry column and it will result in no results form. Okay, so that is the error we will get in this particular chart and everywhere in the chart. Okay, that is a main problem. I would have changed. I could change it. Okay, yeah, let us move on. Like now we have changed the dimension column, right? Now we can change the measure column also. Okay, how to change that measure column? So here in the create query, again, I'm going to create a custom query and add text. First, I will add a column for a measure from the sales data set. What measure you want to change? One is amount and one is count, right? So here, what I'm going to say in the display, amount is going to be amount. So amount is going to be sales amount and count is going to be total accounts. Okay, just going to click on done. Okay, now what I'm going to do again, I need to find that query from here, which is static 3. I need to pull in a toggle here. Just going to pull in a toggle here and I'm going to fetch it from static 3 and paste it here. So now there is no linkages now, even though we linked dimension, but we haven't linked measure. So there is no any values. Okay, it's getting passed. So first of all, what we need to do is first we need to go to this query and arrange something. Okay, so how to arrange this, I will tell you. So here we are having something called measure to field and measure to function. Okay, we don't want these two things. Instead of that, we can make it a single function. Okay, sum of amount. We need to place it. We need to just alter this query like this, so we can use it. We don't want to remove the. We don't want this extra line. Okay, and here also, what we need to do is just we need to change a little thing like count star. What it was earlier. Okay, count star. Okay, I just altered it, and I don't want it as measure underscore field. I'm just changing it to measure 2. Okay. So measure 2. Okay. Okay, I did this now. So what I need to do here is I need to fetch this query. I need to copy this query, go to the advanced editor. Here you need to find this particular query, and the same thing, instead of that I'm selecting the measure. I'm just copying it, and what I'm trying to do is, instead of count of q, I'm placing this. Okay, so common single quotes, I'm just saving it. Okay, okay, one thing which I did wrong ideally is I don't want the single quotation here. Let's remove this again, just saving it, and instead of counts chart, make it as count of q. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll just select sales amount. It's ideally showing your sales amount, and when I click on, okay, it is not binded or what? It is happening. Sum of amount. I'm getting the sum of amount. I click on total amount. Okay, I think one mistake which I did here also, I did not change it to selection. I just kept it to result. Okay, that's why it is not changing. Change it to selection. So ideally we'll get this error. So when I click on sales amount, you're going to get the sales amount. And when I click on total amount, it is going to give us the count. But there is one more thing missing here, right? Again, when you hover on this, you are not getting the exact value here. Like whether it is showing sales amount or total accounts, right? It is showing here, but it is not showing here clearly. It is just saying as A, right? So how to change it? Again, we need to change the alias names. Before that, we need to do a pickup initial value. I'm just taking the sales amount as an initial value, so you don't just see this error ideally. Okay, here after as, right, I'm selecting static 3 again. So what I need to do, I need to go to the cell 0, and I need to select the display name instead of measure name here. And instead of selection, I need to change it to result. And wherever I have A, I need to replace it with this particular value. Even in the order by also. Only then it will be working fine. Okay. So if you see here, I have selected industry and total accounts, right? When you see what is the industry and what is the sales amount now. If I change it to total accounts, then I can see the total accounts values also here dynamically. Without creating multiple chart, in one particular chart, I can see everything. And when I click on source, it ideally give me the source. When I click on sales amount, then it will give me the sales amount, right? This is the use of binding here. Okay. So this is how you use your selection binding. Okay. Now you know you have used the selection binding here. Okay, so how to use a result binding? Okay, so there is one chart which I'm going to generate. There is one chart or a number widget. Okay, so it based on this particular countries, my output should be generated. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, we can go for some chart which we can use only the measures and display the values. Okay, we don't want to use any of the dimension values. Okay, we're just going to use only the measure. I'm just saying the count of rows. Okay, so this will give my total sales, sorry, total accounts. Okay, I'm just adding a number which like I think this is not required. We can add it as a title. Okay, total for opportunities. Okay. So, I need to set it to doc. What happens is this is the total opportunities I have, which is 7 on 6. But based on this top 5, top 10, and top 15 selection, right? My chart, opportunities chart also should change based on the country. It means this country value should be passed here. Okay. So how we can pass this as a filter? Like when based on this selection, how we can pass this as a selection? Okay, get this lens 6 here. What I'm going to do here is just adding a country filter for billing country. Just adding, selecting few countries, just applying it, and going to the query mode and changing this entire thing to a query mode. Okay. So after changing it, again I'm coming back and again I'm updating it. So now I did this, okay, but based on the selection, only this chart is changing, but this chart is not changing. Okay, so how to change this chart based on the selected values? Okay, first of all, we'll change this to dark mode. Okay, and go here, get this widget name. Okay, then 6, go here in the filter, just add this lens 6. Okay, and get this. We need to get a column here because we are going to refer a column. Okay, billing country. I said no, like we might use column, we might row use cell, we might use cell based on the requirement. Okay, now I'm using the column. Okay, in condition, I'm going to add this. Okay, now I'm going to save this. Now see, based on top 10, I'm getting total opportunities is like based on this top 10 countries, my total opportunities is 512. When I select top 5, then it again goes down to 414. When I select top 15, then again it goes to 592. When I select top 20, it is 658. It means that based on one particular input, based on this particular input, I'm going to generate another result out of it. Okay. So based on this particular result, I'm going to generate another result. But if you see the details in the show details in the filter, what happens? Whatever you have in a top 20, all those things has been passed as a filter, and you are able to generate a result out of it, right? This is how it has been possible to select the values, and when the values are selected, it is being passed as a result. Okay, so ideally we need to make sure what is selection binding. Selection binding is nothing but based on one particular selection. If you are able to generate a result out of it, then that is called as a selection binding. But what is a result binding? If there is a result already generated, based on this result, it is possible to generate another result for a particular widget, then this is called as a result binding. Okay. This is one particular example where we are using the selection binding and result binding. Okay, good. Now we have a two page, but if you go to the preview, you can see only one page and you don't know whether that is first page or second page. So how to navigate between these two pages? Okay, take the navigation bar from here, just put it here. Okay, and change the color, whichever color you want. You can change it to the particular color. Okay, and select a tab style also. You can change it like which color you want. Okay, border color or selected style or text color, you can change based on the selection. Okay, likewise, move it to the other page also. Okay, when you move to other page, it is being moved here also. So now I'm previewing it. This is summary. And if I want to go to sales details, just one click, I'm there in the sales details page. Okay, but in sales details, I'm missing this navigation because I think instead of adding it, I just moved it. Just go here and add to the page sales details. Okay, it will be now added. So now when I preview the sales details, it is giving me sales details. But when I click on summary, it will give me the summary details. This is how you switch between the summary and sales details page. Okay, This is a very big complex concepts like which is a selection binding and result binding. And this can be done in other ways also. Like I will tell you how we can do this in multiple way. There is one new thing called component. We can do it via component also. Okay, component, link, and list. A few other things are there like and we have one more actions. We have actions also. So these three sessions we can see it in next class. Okay, this is most important concept, and this comes when you are building. This is always required when you are building a dashboard, very dynamic. Okay, so try to create some dynamic dashboards, dynamic widgets in your org, and let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, so if you have any questions and queries, please let me know now. We can discuss it for next 5 minutes. And if it is nothing there, then we can drop off and keep working on other items. Okay. Yeah. Is there any questions? Hello. Anyone of you having any questions? Okay. Then fine. I will take it as no. Right. We can discuss it tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thanks for the session. Talk to you later. Bye.